A fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty Hi-Yo Silver, the Lone Ranger. His faithful Indian companion Tonto, the daring and resourceful masked rider of the plains, led the fight for law and order in the early western United States. Nowhere in the pages of history can one find a greater champion of justice. Return with us now to those thrilling days of yesteryear. From out of the past come the thundering hoofbeats of the great horse Silver. The Lone Ranger rides again.
Come on, Silver. Let's go, big fellow. Hi-Yo Silver! Hi!
Prospector Davy Fletcher, white-haired and weather-beaten, used short, frenzied strokes as he chopped at the wall of the cave.
Otto, look at that vein, will you? Look at it. It's all gold, solid all the way. Look at it.
His partner, Otto Johnson, wiped the cold perspiration from his florid face and tried not to show the excitement that shone in his mild blue eyes.
Davy, I'm looking. That's all I can do right now, so know that I'm looking. You keep chopping, but go harder, Davy.
Spurred on by the voice of his partner, Davy Fletcher chopped and pried again. Then at last the metal-veined rock broke from the wall and fell amid a cascade of dirt at his feet.
Now, just a little.
Otto! Look at the size of that nugget. We're rich. After all these years, we've struck it rich.
Outside the cave, more than an hour later, Otto Johnson prepared to leave for Dorado City. Davy Fletcher squinted at the sun and frowned.
The sun's starting on the down path, Otto. Better hustle if you're going to get to town and file that claim before sundown.
I'll go as fast as Wilhelm will take me, Davy. Oh, look at his leg. It's cutting. Easy now, Wilhelm.
Well,
easy.
Go as fast as you can anyway, Otto. This mine ain't ours till we get that claim legalized.
Yeah, I know, Davy. If Wilhelm's leg keeps me late, don't you worry. No one will know why I'm in town.
Now, I don't like to say this, Otto, but I know what happens when you feel good, like you feel good now.
Oh, you mean maybe I celebrate?
Well,
all right, Davy, I won't go to town. You go.
No, I didn't mean it that way, Otto. My back, my legs, I couldn't go even if I wanted to. I just wanted to warn you. Too many crooked hombres in Dorado City, Otto.
Sure, Davy, I understand. Don't worry, I'll be back. Are you ready, Wilhelm? Now, come on, then. We go to town and get rich.
The Lone Ranger and Tonto had camped in a thickly wooded section near the main trail into Dorado City. Tonto was looking down on the trail before taking off for the town himself.
Imasabi. Fat man down on trail have bad time with donkey. I think maybe...
Let me have those field glasses, will you please, Tonto? Oh, thank you.
The Lone Ranger peered through his glasses and studied the man and beast limping along the trail.
Yes, I thought that figure looked familiar. It's Otto Johnson.
Oh, me know him. Him man who dig for gold always and find nothing always.
That's Otto, all right. I imagine he and his partner, Davy Fletcher, have chased more rainbows than any other prospectors in these parts.
And donkeys seem to have bad foot. Me think maybe...
We might help? No, I doubt it, Tonto. Otto Johnson is a kind-hearted man. He wouldn't have taken the beast on the trail if it were seriously hurt. See? He's resting it now and tending its hoof.
Me take back trail to town then.
Oh, Tonto.
Steady. Yes, Kimasabi?
Tonto, while you're in town, I think it might be a good idea to do some more checking on Jack Cooper.
Me think same thing, Kimasabi. Now you say I did good. Me do it sure.
Laredo City was becoming one of the most thriving cities in the West until Cooper and his men moved in.
Now it's plenty bad town.
Yes, it's becoming one of the worst. Even with a sheriff as honest and fearless as Lofty Logan.
Sheriff, him go to San Felipe for prisoner.
Yes, you told me that yesterday, Tonto. He probably won't be back until late tonight or until tomorrow morning. That's why I think you might learn whatever you can, not feel that you're interfering with his office. More and more, I'm convinced that crime in this country can be laid at the door of Jack Cooper.
Then me keep eye and ear on door.
Do that. I'm interested in that man.
Me go then. Easy, Scout. Easy, fella. Steady, Scout. Steady. Me get back late, Kimasabi. Get him up, Scout.
The registration office and assay office were both closed when Otto Johnson arrived in Laredo City that evening. He placed Wilhelm, the donkey, in a veterinarian's care. And now, late that night, he walked along the street.
Yeah, I should be celebrating, and instead I must walk the streets alone.
His lips were firm and his eyes looked straight ahead. But after a while, his steps wavered and almost instinctively led him into Diamond Jack Cooper's cafe. Two hours passed. Diamond Jack Cooper's lieutenant, Pinto Wilson, sat in the closed office with his boss. From time to time, they glanced at the small nuggets of pure gold on the table as they listened to Blackie Hample's story. Finally, the bartender reached his climax.
Otto Johnson got so oiled up he finally told me everything. Where they found the gold and how Davy Fletcher's waiting back there at the cave now, guarding the place till Otto files a claim.
Otto's not gonna file a claim, boys. You know that.
I guessed at it, boss. As soon as he told me he was too late to do it today. That's when I put those knockout drops in his drink, dragged him into the barrel room. Pinto helped me.
That's right, boss. He's in there now, dead to the world.
Who saw you drag him in there?
Just a few boys here in the bar where he was standing.
Our boys, boss. No outsiders.
Likely some people must have seen him come into town earlier.
Yeah, that's right. The vet, for instance. He left his donkey at the vet's.
Yeah. Some others must have seen him come in this place, too. That's all Lofty Logan would have to know if Johnson just disappeared or if they found his body any place around here tomorrow.
Yeah, that Logan. Ever since he's been elected sheriff, he's been after you, boss. Everything that happens, he tries to pin on you.
He's been guessing right, Pinto. But he hasn't done it yet, has he?
You're too smart for him, boss.
I aim to keep on being too smart for him. That's why I'm not going to make a sucker play and kill Otto Johnson tonight.
But, boss, you can't let him live. Not if you want to grab that mine they have. They gotta die. Him and Davy Fletcher.
And they're going to die before the sun is high in the sky tomorrow. Before Sheriff Lofty Logan gets back to Laredo City.
But how are you... Hey, who's that?
What's eating you, Pinto? Why'd you run out here? Who'd you see?
Nobody now. I could have sworn, though, I saw somebody at the window while we was talking.
Well, where is he?
I don't know. Only one I see is that engine across the road leaning against the hitching post.
That one? He was propped against that post when I come into the place tonight. That's all he does, rest.
Think I ought to ask him if he saw...
If he saw someone come out of here. Even if there was someone, he wouldn't have seen him. He's too lazy to open his eyes. We're seeing things, Pinto. Come on back inside and tell the boss. He's going to be sore.
Tonto, who had been lounging against the hitching post, waited for about 5 minutes. Then he moved with unbelievable swiftness. He sped across the street, blended magically into the shadows, and walked almost noiselessly to a spot beneath the window in Diamond Jack Cooper's office. Inside, Blackie Hample returned from the barrel room, where he had emptied the pockets of the still unconscious Otto Johnson.
There's a nugget, boss. You ever see anything like it?
Feel how heavy it is. The mine this nugget come from just gotta be a rich one.
Put it down, Pinto, right there. Now, Blackie, give us Johnson's map, the one he was going to use for filing his claim. Show Pinto the spot where that cave is located.
Pinto studied the map closely and put it aside after a few minutes.
That's a cinch. Who'd have thought there was gold up there? All I gotta do is follow the brook that crosses Pine Trail and go up toward the ridge.
Yeah, that's it. Leads right to the cave where Davy Fletcher is. Oh, here's Otto's gun, Pinto.
Huh?
You want him to use this to kill Davy, don't you, boss?
Sure. We got to have that as part of the evidence to hang the fat fella in the morning.
A 45, huh? Got a nice feel to it.
Pinto, remember what I told you?
Huh?
Without your gun, you go into that cave where Fletcher is. He's got to believe your story. Get him away from there before you kill him. Now, let's get it straight from first to last. While you're taking the trail to Davy Fletcher, Pinto, Blackie will sneak out of the barrel.
Seconds after Jack Cooper had repeated his plans to Pinto and Blackie, the shadows draping the rear of his cafe melted, and the form of an Indian emerged. He sped to the end of the street, dashed into a clearing among some trees, and vaulted onto his horse.
Scout.
Then he turned the horse toward the trail that led into the hills.
Get him up, Scout.
Tonto galloped back to the spot overlooking the trail where the Lone Ranger was camped. The masked man listened grimly as his Indian companion finished the plot he had overheard outside Diamond Jack Cooper's window.
So Cooper is going to have Davy Fletcher killed, huh? And in the morning he's going to incite a mob to hang Johnson before Sheriff Logan gets back to town?
That plan he make, Kimasabi.
You say the gun Pinto is going to use to kill Davy, Otto Johnson's gun, is a 45?
Me hear him say that. And me see gun through window.
Good. Then let's make some plans of our own. Tonto, are still 45s among those blanks we have in my kit?
Yes, Kimasabi. Me sure. And me get 'em.
Tonto picked up a large leather pouch resting against a tree near the horses. He opened the kit in the light of the dying fire on the ground. Then he withdrew an assortment of bullets, selecting 6 of the same caliber.
Here, blank bullets you want.
Oh, thank you. Tonto, Jack Cooper can't be exposed unless Davy Fletcher is shot. We can't let that happen. But we want to get Cooper dead to rights. Now, we'll try to arrange things so Fletcher is shot with blank cartridges. Our problem will be to get those blanks into Cooper's gun and let Fletcher know what we're doing. Tonto, do you think I can find the cave where Fletcher's hiding?
It's not far from here, Kimasabi. You come to brook, like me say. You find cave easy.
All right, I'll set out at once then. Now, you keep those bullets, Tonto. Watch for this Pinto Wilson on the main trail.
Me follow, Kimasabi, and do like you say.
Be sure you remain near the spot where he intends to kill Fletcher. You've got to scare him away before he investigates his work.
Me know. Me do it.
Good. And I'll get going with the ridge trail and ride to Davy Fletcher. Easy, steady, big fella. All right, big fella. Come on, settle there.
The curtain falls on the first act of our Lone Ranger adventure. Before the next exciting scenes, please permit us to pause for just a few moments. Now to continue. The Lone Ranger found Davy Fletcher in the cave. The bewildered prospector was dubious at first, but as the Lone Ranger outlined the plot against Fletcher's life, the old man became convinced.
Well, stranger, it sounds mighty peculiar what you just told me. But if Pinto Wilson's mixed up in it like you say, it could be true. He's a bad one. So if he comes here like you say he will, I'll do just what you told me. I'll make believe I'm no...
Oh, Scout, oh, fella, oh.
From a path above, running parallel with the main trail, Tonto had followed Pinto Wilson from the moment the bad man passed below the Lone Ranger's encampment.
Steady, Scout, steady, fella. Let me tie you here for a while.
Tonto dismounted and watched Wilson in a clearing near the brook that crossed the trail at that point. The man removed his gun holster and placed it on a tree stump. Then he mounted his horse again and rode upward, following the path of the brook. Holding 6.45 caliber bullets in his hand, Tonto started down the embankment to the tree stump and the gun which Wilson had left in the holster there. There, he removed the bullets from Pinto's gun and replaced them with the blanks. A short time later, leaving his horse outside, Pinto Wilson, his clothes disarranged, and pretending great stress and fear, staggered into the cave. The Lone Ranger had left for Dorado City a short time before, but it was a secretly confident Dave Fletcher who reacted to Pinto's performance.
Who's that there? Huh? You, get your hands up.
Pinto's voice held an exaggerated tremor.
Now, don't shoot. Don't shoot, Davy. I've come for you. Otto sent me to bring you to him.
Pinto, intent on his role, was unconscious of how readily Davy Fletcher sided in with him. Davy placed his gun in his pocket and went up to the man anxiously.
Otto sent you? Otto? Mister, has something happened to Otto? Well, don't stand there. Tell me.
He's been shot, Davy. Now, look, I got my horse outside. I'll take you to him. It's not too far. A couple of miles from here along the brook.
Then let's get to him, mister. Let's get to him.
Here.
Come on, will you? Hurry.
Yeah, I'm coming. I'm coming.
Pinto Wilson and Davy Fletcher dismounted on the trail. Pinto, forging ahead about 10 feet, led the way to the spot where his gun holster lay on the tree stump. He snatched the gun from the leather as Davy, following the Lone Ranger's advice, remained 4 or 5 strides behind.
Where's Otto? I don't see Otto.
Pinto Wilson turned quickly, his gun pointing at Davy.
You said that...
Betcha you're not gonna see Otto. You're gonna die.
Davy turned and started to run away from the trail.
Hey, you won't get away, Davy.
Davy Fletcher pretended to stumble as he saw a horse against the night sky 100 yards away.
Don't shoot me.
Pinto stopped and fired point blank at the prospector.
What a prize sucker you are.
I'm dying, huh?
As Davy fell to the ground, Pinto saw the horse in the distance. There was an Indian riding it.
Doggone it.
Quickly, he turned and ran to the tree stump. He picked up the holster. Then, carrying that and the empty gun, he ran to the trail and leaped on his horse.
Get going, boy. We gotta get out of here. Get it, boy. Come on. Get it.
Pinto Wilson, panicky, streaked his horse toward Dorado City. But the Indian on the horse didn't follow him. Instead, Tonto walked Scout down the trail, then headed him in to where Davy Fletcher lay sprawled on the ground.
You get off ground now. You dead long now.
Shaking a little, Davy Fletcher rose to his feet.
Well, doggone. It was just like the masked man said. I got afraid, though, just before he fired. I thought to myself, suppose the bullets aren't...
Yeah, but bullets were. Now you come. You get on horse. You ride to town with me.
The Lone Ranger, on arriving in Dorado City, had found Jack Cooper's cafe and let himself in a side door. When the place had closed, he sought out the barrel room where Otto Johnson was held captive. At daybreak, he leaped behind one of the barrels when a key was heard in the lock on the door. He patted a still groggy Otto on the shoulder from his hiding place.
Don't worry. I'll handle this.
Blackie smirked as he saw Otto move slightly.
Coming to, huh? Good. I can make you walk out into the woods then before people get stirring. Stand up. I said stand up.
The
going out in the woods and do some waiting.
I'll be waiting with you, Blackie. Drop that gun. Drop it quick or I'll... That's it. Going to have a mob kill Otto, are you, Blackie?
Huh? How do you know that?
The same way I know you're going to die.
Me? Die? Oh, what for? I didn't do anything. I don't want to die. Anything I did...
You did because Jack Cooper told you to. Isn't that it?
Yes.
Well, if you don't want to die real quick, Blackie, you'll do a lot of talking between now and sunup. If you don't, I'll... This gun...
Oh, look, stranger, I'm not a gunman. I don't like guns. Whatever you say.
I say help Otto off the floor and take him where you're supposed to take him.
Sure, I'll do that.
Thank you, mister, for helping me.
I only slapped you conscious, Otto. You'll feel much better in the open air. Yeah. All right, go on, Blackie. Do as you've been ordered. And don't try any tricks. My gun will be on you all the way, whether you see me or not.
I know. I'll do what you say. Come on, Johnson. Stranger, we're going to the woods.
Yes, I know. And I'll tell you there what I want you to do. And if you don't... But go on. Go with him, Otto.
The two men, one trembling, the other dizzy, staggered out the door into the street, a street completely deserted and still enveloped in the gray blanket of morning. As the two men headed for the woods, the Lone Ranger, proceeding cautiously, was never far behind. Pinto Wilson, aided by members of Cooper's gang, had swept through the town with a story of wanton killing. Now, as the sun came up in the sky, the angry mob was listening to Pinto speak from the porch of a Main Street building. And then, as if it had been planned, Pinto Wilson looked toward the edge of the woods and saw an undoubtedly semi-conscious Otto Johnson staggering toward them.
Now, look. Look, there's Johnson. There's the killer now. There's the one who shot Davy Fletcher in cold blood without giving him a chance.
Go on, grab him.
Go on, get him.
Spurred on, the mob set off to grab Otto Johnson.
Lynch him. Bring him up.
Cooper watched them rush at Otto, who stood shaking beneath a tree. Then, puzzled, he turned to the triumphant Pinto Wilson.
Where's Blackie? I thought Blackie was supposed to make believe he found him.
Doesn't matter, boss. Look, they've got Johnson.
Come on, let's be there while they string him. The fool doesn't even know what's happening.
Yeah, let's go.
The Cooper-led mob stood around Otto Johnson, whose terror was now real. He dropped the mask of grogginess and started to protest.
Oh, please. Please, you must let me talk. Please, you must let me.
While some men protested, the mob as a whole subsided to let Otto Johnson speak his last words. A sight he saw behind the mob reassured him.
Go ahead, Johnson.
Johnson wet his lips and spoke.
This is an awful thing you would do to an innocent man.
Innocent? I saw you shoot Davy Fletcher. I saw
You saw that, Pinto Wilson?
Yeah, and don't try to deny it.
Well, I'll deny it.
The crowd turned in dumb surprise as they heard the voice of Davy Fletcher. He stood on a barrel between a masked man and an Indian.
Look, it's Davy Fletcher. He's not dead. That's Fletcher.
Yep, I'm Davy Fletcher, all right. And it wasn't Otto who emptied his gun at me. It was him. Pinto Wilson.
That's a lie. I didn't.
Pinto, you fool. What did you do?
Yep, he tried to kill me so's he could blame it on Otto.
But why?
I'll tell you why. So's Diamond Jack Cooper could steal the mine me and Otto located in the hills.
Cooper?
Why?
Cooper did this?
Sure.
Hey, look at him.
Otto joined in the accusation.
That is true. This bartender, Blackie Hempel, drugged me and held me prisoner in Cooper's cafe.
That's a lie. These men are...
No, it's not a lie, Cooper. You did. It's what you've done before in the past. Robbing honest men, stealing their claims.
Who are you? A liar, a man in a mask.
I'll get him.
The ranger's gun shot Pinto's wrist before he could pull the trigger of his revolver.
You keep your hands free, too, Cooper.
Don't make move for gun.
Tonto and Davy Fletcher had drawn guns and pointed them at Cooper and his men, who were herded together. The amazed crowd was too dumbfounded to act as the Lone Ranger raised his hand.
As soon as you send Cooper and men like him to prison where they belong, this town is going to be one of the great cities of the New West.
He's a robber. He's wearing a mask. Don't let him get away with it.
riding this way. Lofty Logan. The sheriff.
Yes, and his deputies. Let them listen while I tell you all you need to know. Blackie Hampel will confirm everything I say.
Blackie Hampel?
Yes. Won't you, Blackie?
The ranger fingered his gun as Blackie slunk from behind the great horse Silver.
Sheriff, arrest this man.
Arrest him!
Sheriff Lofty Logan studied the scene, motioned his deputies mildly, and smiled coldly at Cooper.
No, I won't, Cooper. I want to hear what the stranger has to say. You go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Sheriff.
The Lone Ranger told the entire plot against the lives and property of Davy Fletcher and Otto Johnson. Then he enumerated previous unsolved murders and crimes traceable to Diamond Jack Cooper. He backed up his horse as he ended.
All the things I've told you can be proved by Fletcher and Johnson and Blackie Hample.
Is that true, Hample? You'll testify in court against Cooper?
Well, yes, Sheriff. I'll prove stuff, too.
Oh, no, you won't.
Hey, watch out. Cooper's going to shoot Dutch.
No!
Hey, hit Cooper. The masked man did it again. Grab Cooper, boy.
All right, now, stand back, everybody. My deputies will arrest those men. All right, men, arrest Cooper when you banish his wrist. Arrest Pinto Wilson and everyone else who joined in that lynch mob.
As the deputies arrested Cooper, Pinto, and the gang, Otto Johnson joined Davy Fletcher, who was telling his story to Sheriff Logan.
Yes, sir, and the only reason I didn't die was because the masked man's friend put blank bullets in the gun Pinto used to shoot me. That was the trick that saved us and made all this possible.
Oh, I'm so glad, Davy. And I'm so sorry for what I did.
Well, it'll result in one good thing. Aside from you getting rich from your claim, it'll clean up this city, help it take its place among the best in the West.
Thanks to that man who wears the mask. Him and that Injun. Sheriff, you let him talk there before and didn't even try to stop him. Did you know who he was?
Why, of course. I wanted to hear the truth he was bound to bring out. He's disappeared now.
Otto, do you mean to say you didn't know who that man was?
No, should I?
He saved your life, didn't he?
Yeah.
Of course you should. That's the Lone Ranger.
This is a feature of the Lone Ranger Incorporated, created by George W. Trendle, produced by Trendle Campbell Enterprises, directed by Charles D. Livingston, and edited by Fran Stryker. The part of the Lone Ranger is played by Brace Beamer.
You've been listening to the OTR Gold Network. Find more classic radio at otrgold.com.